What's going on, team? It is absolutely phenomenal to have you back. Today, we're going to be talking about winning. Are you a winner? When you're talking about just you, yourself, and I, are you a winner? Do you seek winning? Are you currently winning? Are you on a winning team? Is your team winning? Winning. We're going to get into it. We're going to define it. We're going to talk about it today. When you walk away from this, you are going to have a different mentality of what a winner is and what it takes to be a winner. So let's get into it. As always, my name is Marcus. I just make these videos to help others in the ways that I have been helped in the past, and sometimes by hard lessons learned. So if this video is helpful to you, pass it on to a fella or a fellette near you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about what is the meaning of winning? What is the mentality that it takes to be winning? How do you actually know when and if you are winning? So I want to talk about a few things that maybe you haven't thought about in this light before. You definitely heard these things, but maybe you haven't thought about how to apply it to this manner. When I think of a really good winner, like one of the best winners of all time, you're going to have to be thinking of King David, right? When you may be thinking, who's King David? David and Goliath? That's right, that's who I'm talking about. I want to talk about two things that are big stories in David and what it means and how you can take these things and actually apply them to what you do and don't do on a daily basis. So, we all know the story of David and Goliath, right? Little bitty dude slays a big old giant with nothing but a stone, right? What's the other part of the story of David that is just as powerful, in my opinion, that I think a lot of people overlook sometimes, is two different times before he was king. The current king was chasing him down in Saul, that he could have, in most people's eyes probably should have, killed Saul so that he could have became king. That's right. Those two things that he did not do are just as huge and as powerful as the thing that he did do. So let's get into it. Let's kind of discuss how those apply and how you can do them on a daily basis. As always, there's going to be 3 simple steps that you need to think about and do and follow in order to be able to apply this. It's the whole philosophy of keep it simple, stupid. You may be thinking, but there's a lot of things that have more than 3 things. Don't care. You need to try to figure out every main thing that you have. You need to boil it down to a maximum of 3, if at all possible. By the way, it's always possible. So, number 1 is going to be outside circumstances do not matter, nor do they change your plan. So, how does this apply to the 2 analogies that I just gave you? If you want to look at outside circumstances in the David versus Goliath, David, you're a little bitty dude, basically still a teenager. This is basically the largest dude that has ever existed. You got a stone. You're gonna die. That was an outside circumstance. So when you think about what was David's mentality, how did he go into this battle? Well, it's very simple. Just before that, he was anointed and given the Spirit and told by God that he was going to be king. So if you know that, if you know in your head you are going to win, you are going to have victory, it is going to change the way you view and see the outside circumstances that you and everybody else could be viewing it as. To him, it was, okay, well, I'm not king yet. So that means if I go after this old boy, I'm gonna win. Because of the way he saw his future and winning and what was going to happen, it absolutely meant that regardless of what this thing is, I win. Period. So if you go in ahead of time knowing that you're gonna win, it's going to change anything in front of you, because outside circumstances do not matter, nor do they change your plan. So let's talk about the plan. Here we are. Again, same guy. He has an opportunity to kill the guy that is chasing him. He's been being chased for years, and the old boy that's chasing him is named Saul. And he can absolutely kill Saul, and when he kills Saul, that means he gets to be king. But that's an outside circumstance that changed the plan. It's not allowed to change your plan. The outside circumstances cannot change your plan. You have to stay focused on what you know is true and is right. And you may be thinking, yeah, but what if something good's happening? I want to take advantage. Doesn't matter. If you worry about taking advantage of situations, you're always going to be worried about what situations could take advantage of you. Stay on the path, period. Okay? Number 2, do not compare. You've heard this before, but it is super, super important that you don't compare. If David would have compared, he would have not beat Goliath. Point blank, period, end of story. Because in all aspects, Big David, I said that wrong. In all aspects, Big Goliath, Little David, right? Do not compare. You absolutely can't. Here's a little scripture ditty for you, right? If you want to go to Galatians 6, 4, and 5, but let each one examine his own work, and then he will have rejoicing in himself alone. Not in comparison to others, alone, by yourself. When you want to talk about winning, that is the true definition of winning. Are you in your own self, when it's just you, yourself, and I, do you think of yourself as a winner? The rest of it doesn't matter, okay? And we're gonna get into that here in a minute or two. But for each one shall bear his own load. You need to worry about you. You can't be worrying about other things, right? Outside circumstances. You got to take care of what you have set before you, and you can't let everything else come into you and rob you. If you're sitting there thinking, this is something that I struggled with for a very long time. I was like, I'm not successful. I didn't consider myself successful. And you want to know why? More than likely, if you have a problem with considering yourself a winner or considering yourself successful, I bet you there are promises that you've made to yourself that you have not followed through with. And you probably haven't followed through with them because of an outside circumstance. That outside circumstance could have been, oh, I wonder if I'm going to scroll on TikTok today. Or I wonder if I'm going to binge on this particular thing of Netflix. Or you know what? I'm a little too tired. I don't need to go work out today or whatever. Or, you know, I really got into the word real good yesterday, a little bit extra, got in a couple extra chapters, so I don't need to get into it today. If you are having struggles with considering yourself in a good view, I guarantee you've probably broken promises to yourself. And when you break promises, you're breaking parts of the process of your plan that you set before yourself. And if you keep doing that, it's just going to be easier to keep doing it more and more and more. And you know it, and you're never going to feel good about it. Number 3. And this one, gonna keep it 100 with you. It could be considered a little bit of a toxic way of thinking, but real deal, Holyfield, it's 100% how I think about things, okay? I don't care as much about winning is 100% by no means will I lose. I am not gonna lose. Because in a way, if you're thinking about winning as far as like, how do I tally it up? What does my numbers look like versus this guy? What does my physique look like versus this guy? You know, whatever they get that, like that's a little bit of comparison, right? But here's what I will tell you. Absolutely, I ain't gonna be losing, okay? And the number one way you're not gonna be losing, any promise I make to myself, I'm gonna uphold. I am not going to find a reason or an excuse to not complete something I said I was going to complete, or to do something I said I was going to do. Period. If you have a winning mentality, then by nature, you absolutely cannot lose. Because like if you think about records, like records are constantly getting changed and moved and broken and so on and so forth, right? Like whoever set the fastest whatever this year, it's going to be faster next year. Like the Olympics get faster and faster every year for the most part, right? In whatever case. You absolutely cannot lose. And if you're sitting here thinking, I'm just gonna hit you right now, some of you gonna get in the feels, this gonna hurt you a little bit. If you're sitting here thinking, well, yeah, but you're losing. The yeah, well, but doesn't matter. Well, yeah, but Goliath was super big. Don't care. Don't care. There are always outside circumstances at play. Doesn't matter. You get to walk in authority and victory if you choose. So my question is, are you choosing that? Are you choosing the yeah, wells and the buts? Or are you choosing don't care, doesn't matter? You have to follow through it if you want to win. If you're more concerned about getting in your binging on TV, if you're more concerned about eating the things that taste good versus the things that are good for you, if you're more concerned about chilling and relaxing on the couch than you are going out and moving your body, if you're more concerned about making the excuses for why you didn't get the sale, or why you didn't accomplish that task, or why your team is this, or you know what, I'm not winning because they're not winning. That is a losing mindset and a losing mentality. A winner's mentality is, no matter what, I walk in, I will not lose. Period. If you start to do that, you are going to start winning. And you can't be comparing to others, because others don't matter. Others do not matter. If David would have thought about others and their mentality, he would have done the same thing they did and sat on the sidelines and waited for somebody else to come handle Goliath. Doesn't matter. You step into the room, Goliath's in front of you, you're going to handle it, point blank, period, in the story. You step in a room, everybody around you says, hey, here's your opportunity. Go kill the king so you can become king. Doesn't matter. You do it in the way that it is meant to be done. Forget all the circumstances around you. You win. You put yourself in the Word. You follow God. You follow His path. You put Him in front of you. Seek Him in all things, and you win. Point blank, period, end of story. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you're sitting here thinking, you know what, I would like some winning strategies, or maybe you can help me figure out my 3 winning keys, absolutely. Click in the link below, hit me up, we'll get to talking. Until then, have a phenomenal day.